Welcome to the Underground.
Turn me up, bitch!
My Little Underground with Peter A.
It's My Little Underground. I'm Peter A. If you go to my website, peteraradio.com, you can find the entire archive of My Little Underground, and you can subscribe to the monthly My Little Underground email newsletter, and again, that's over at peteraradio.com. Returning to the show, we have Joe Trainor of the LA band Dummy. Joe's going to talk about the debut LP, Mandatory Enjoyment, and of course, Dummy's plans to tour Europe and the United States, the widespread acclaim and love that Dummy has been getting since the release of their first two EPs way back in 2020. And Joe also does PR for some bands, so we talk about that. And I feel like the last time Joe came on here, he always got some scoops for me. So he's going to share some news from within the Dummy camp about new music they got coming out. So lots to talk about and to catch up with Joe Trainor, returning to My Little Underground. That KEXP session was something else. Like I really enjoyed it, and because that's a station like in New York we have WFUV and KEXP is like the West Coast version, and to see that station that supports a lot of like cool music, like not like super popular music too, which is that's what really like attracts me to that station. It's like, whoa, y'all listen to that too? Like when you guys were approached to do that, like what did you do? Did you say, KEXP, can we play, or did they just come to you?
I don't really know because it was through our PR person. I think they've been playing us a lot on it, I guess. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know the inner workings of how that happened at all. But they were really excited to have us there, so that was nice.
When did you guys get a PR person? Because I was always under the impression that Dummy is like a DIY operation.
For the LP, Trouble in Mind had one. So it was like a lot of him and then a little of me with like the kind of like, I don't know, groundwork I laid. I don't know. I don't need like, just the communication between people. Nothing, to, I don't know. I don't even know how I know how I do quote unquote PR. That's basically just being like, hi, here's my band.
Yeah.
I hope you like it.
Yeah.
So whatever Nathan did from Riot Act, he did a great job, clearly. So, gotta big ups to him for really doing a lot of work on the record.
Did I mess up the new Dummy protocol? Because usually with some bands, like they'll come on my show and then it'll just be like, I'll send them like an email to their band email.
Uh-huh.
But these days, the second time around, it's like, okay, the band email doesn't work anymore. So I go to the PR person who CCs like 10 people, and then they're like, we're not doing this interview. You know what I mean? Like going forward with Dummy, it's like, okay.
No. Just talk to me.
Got it.
I don't want to be, I don't like the idea of like, obviously, I think if you get to a certain echelon of popularity, obviously you need someone who isn't you sifting through all of it. But like, we're not even close to that. I'm grateful for anyone wanting to talk to me or us or about us. And I will continue to be until, we're as big as Nirvana or something like that. Until that happens, I will be as accessible as I ever have been.
Yeah. So the last time I talked to you, Joe, you only had 2 EPs out and you were recording these EPs in like your apartment. So now, like with the new album out and you guys have been playing shows and going on the road, has your chemistry and friendship evolved and grown in any way?
Oh, I mean, our chemistry, I don't know how to put this any other way, but like, we so heavily fuck with each other as people. We're just like all pals. Our first like out of town show, like within the first hour of being in the van, we were just like, we had like 10 inside jokes already. We're already full ham. And like, we're obviously like, Alex and I are married. Nathan and I have been playing in bands together for a while. I've known Emma for like 13 years because we lived together in Baltimore. And then the newest edition, Mark, he folded in with our sense of humor and our taste so quickly. But I mean, the LP was still written the same way the EPs were. I mean, it was some of the songs we had played live before everything went to shit. And then, about half of the record, we kind of like wrote it home and then recorded and kind of finished in the studio.
Okay.
We didn't really like some of the songs we play now, like the song Final Weapon and Atonal Poem. Like when we play those songs live, they're not the way they're recorded. Like we reconstructed them we went backwards. We wrote them in the studio more and kind of built them as a piece and then learned how to play them live after. So there's like a live version and a recorded version of the songs, and they're not like so different, but they're definitely like the live version's definitely more like, hits you a little harder.
Yeah, it's almost like you're while you're performing live, you're just adding to what was not really on the recording. It's a different live experience.
It's more like punk or whatever.
Of course,
The KEXP session, I guess, shows to some degree how it's different. It's not, but it's not so different. I don't know. It's just we wrote a lot of it was, we still recorded like 40% of the record at the house, and then the rest of it was mixed and then recorded like louder stuff at the actual studio. So it was the first time we actually recorded anything at a studio. The rest of it's been just us, but I mean, it's not so different, but we're just starting to like work on new music for the first time, like the past like 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're feeling charged up from doing a KEXP, and I like that. You know what I mean? Like it's really cool. And the tours, right?
The tour is what the tour like. The tour really like. I felt it was for the first time in a really long time. I felt like excited, inspired to like work on writing, not just because we've been working so much like just on playing live, because that's a different muscle for our brains, and that's what we've been doing. And we wanted to like make that, just as good as the record, if not, better. I'd rather someone see us live first.
Yes.
But that's just, that's the old way of doing it.
Of course. Yeah. And like the last 5 to 10 episodes of My Little Underground, I've been telling people, please get vaccinated. Please do whatever you got to do, because we need to see these bands live, especially like a dummy of sorts. Like we have to, please. Like I get angry because I want these shows to happen. I see you posting, we got these tours and we were ready to go. Oh my God, come on, people. It's annoying at this point. So with Ground Control touring, like what are they doing for you?
I feel reluctant to talk about that to some degree. I mean, it's a booking agent, it'll put us with, hopefully supporting some other bands and playing some festivals and stuff like that. It's just more, it makes things a little more like, easier on me, really, because I'm the one who books everything. So it's just it makes things. I'm really excited to be working with Ground Control. I mean, the lineup they have is absurd, and the guy we have who is our booking agent, he's definitely like a punk guy, which I'm really excited that we have someone who's more in that world doing our stuff, because that's what I'd rather kind of be.
Great. Yeah, that's exactly what I was expecting, because it's not like I'm going to peel back everything about Dummy business. It's just, sure. You guys are just so, you have your ways and you're very opinionated and you want things to be done a certain way. So it's interesting that you're bringing, you have another outside, outlier to kind of that sees your vision. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when we talked, I was like, okay, like this guy's, I like this guy, I after previous experiences, I had felt for a while like reluctant to go down that road again, but they made me feel excited and comfortable. Yeah.
And your European tour, no, you had to reschedule it for obvious reasons. So what countries were you looking to hit, and any bands, international bands from Europe that you're looking to play with?
Well, we were gonna hit everywhere. We're gonna hit Sweden, Denmark, Germany, Italy, Spain, the UK. Like, I mean, I think we were gonna play like some like DIY punk show in like Poland. I was really like excited. Obviously, it's a huge bummer, but I had mentally prepared about a month ago, like when the new variant hit and what happened in South Africa and everything exploding.
Yeah.
I definitely was like, all right, this isn't going to happen. So it wasn't as much as a bummer, I think, if it was more dramatic of a cancellation. It was kind of like, I know this is going to happen, so it's fine. But in terms of bands, I mean, yeah, it's different there because I'm very used to like trying to curate the show as best as possible. But there, I don't really know too many bands. And the ones I do might be too big for like, because it's us headlining the shows. So, it's not like here where if you're on tour and the local band can like play last and you can play third. And then there's like, another local band before you. It's not really like that. You have like the US band headlines and like the guarantees and all that stuff is very like for the headliner. So, but there are definitely, I mean, we were going to play with Grand Voimont, who's a band I really like in France. That would have been really cool. I feel like I have to shout out Jen from Nonstop and Tracy from Turntable Report. They, them sending me bands from all over Europe. Them, for the next one, I have like bigger lists of bands I want to play with, and like hopefully, maybe our star will rise a little bit more to where I can be a little more like, I want to play with this band. Because, some of the bands we were going to play with, I was just like, I'm not super into this, but like, I'm not booking it and it's another country. So I don't really feel like I have the knowledge or sway to be like,
Oh, okay. All right. So you're letting, other folks take the wheel on that. And then you guys give the last, okay, we're doing this or we're not doing it, right?
No.
Okay.
it's pretty much like, these are the bands playing. Like, and that's fine. I mean, it's Europe. I don't know anything over there, so like I'm not going to pretend like I have any knowledge or. So I was just like, let our booking agent take the wheel and him be in charge. And I was like, cool, do it, because I mean it's going to Europe. I don't really give a shit. Like I want to go to Europe and I want to play Europe, and if we play with some bands I don't particularly care for, I don't really care. I'm playing in France or playing in Madrid. Like, yeah, I don't care. So
cool. Generally speaking, right? Like, everything else, let's say if you're booking your own show someplace, what kind of, do you have some sort of like criteria that a certain band that would play with you? Like, do you know, like, okay, you may have to quote unquote sound like this or maybe have the same kind of ethos, like, or what?
Well, for the US tour, I booked it. It's still mostly me. So, no, I just have to like it, really, or even if like, respect it. But the thing is, for us, once again, like a band of our size, we're not drawing hundreds and hundreds of people every place we play. Like, in some bigger cities, I feel like we do okay. But like, in smaller towns, you want to have like a strong local to play the show to help, boost the attendance. And sometimes you have to sacrifice curation for the greater good of the show, and I know when to pull that trigger and when to not. But no, there's no criteria. I mean, I'll play. I tend to not want to play with emo bands or shoegaze bands. I usually want to play with like punk or like post-punk and more on the noisy side, or experimental or like hip hop or ambient, just stuff that isn't like, I don't know. I don't want to play with a bunch of bands that, I mean, I don't know. I'm good. I want to play with different bands. I don't want to play with bands that sound like us or like, but I also don't, I don't want to play with emo bands.
Yeah. don't play shows on Long Island, man. There's a lot of that happening out there. Well, I don't know about now. I haven't been to any DIY shows out there in a minute. But April 10th, you're in Williamsburg. Baby's All Right with Hyperluxo and 0 Point Energy. I find it interesting that 0 Point Energy is playing because they have like one song on Bandcamp now. They don't have a whole lot of stuff. out now. Did you picked this show? You Dummy organized this band, right? This show, right?
Well, they were suggested by Hypo. So
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, sure. Because like in New York, you know, I was having a hard time finding like bands that I like Hypo a lot. I think they're a really good band and they're very good live. An old band played with them too. I just think they're a good band, and I was up for suggestions, and they suggested them, and I was like, okay. Like it was a little more like, and they said it was like X Warehouse, which, you know, I thought that was cool. So I saw Warehouse play with like Frankie Cosmos in Baltimore, and I thought they were really good. So, but yeah, I mean, you know, the few New York bands that I really like either weren't available or like, you know, aren't like, I wanted to play like Water from Your Eyes. I thought that would be really cool, just because we're both kind of like experimentally esque bands. And then Time Warp was another one that I wanted to play with, but it just didn't work out this time. So, but
I found out about Zero Point from so the side project of Water from Your Eyes was in My Idea. They did a show with them at Babies, I think. And that's how I found out about them. But Babies, all right. Like, was that a venue in New York that you had your eye on, or was there any other?
They reached out to us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, cool. The main booker there reached out to us, and we're like, yeah, we'd love to play there. I'll let you know when our tour is. And I just reached out, and they're like, we figured out a date that worked. And I'm not the tour is, I wouldn't say is fully booked around that, but that was kind of like the first like solid show that I got. And so I kind of like, you know, figured out the routing and everything based on that show. It gave a good like point of, you know, a good like starting point for me.
And it's a great venue too. It's one of my favorite spots.
Yeah, I mean, every time I play there, it sounds good. The staff is all really, really nice and really chill. So yeah, I mean, you know, the other, I don't know in terms of like more DIY stuff. I'm not really too familiar what's happening in New York City. It doesn't seem like a ton is happening in that regard, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
There's a venue that opened. There's a tons of like Ridgewood venues that open up near me that I have never heard of until recently. Like there's TVI, never been there still. It's very close to my apartment. I never, what else? I don't know what happened to, shit. Yeah, I have no idea either because, you know, COVID kind of, there's Transpagos. I think they're still doing stuff. I don't know if you ever been there or if you ever came around here, but that's a really cool spot.
I think I played there, but I can't remember.
Yeah, it's really, it's a cool spot. So the one thing I've been loving is like the bi-coastal praise for Dummy, especially with the new LP. You know, how are you feeling about all I'm seeing a lot of positive reviews and playlisting and radio play. I know Henry Rollins shouted you guys out. So how are you feeling about all that?
He played us 5 weeks in a row on his show.
5 weeks.
I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, if someone told me at any point in my life that Henry Rollins would like a band I was in, like actively and play our shit multiple times, I 100% would not have believed you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, that tickled all of us so much. I mean, we also recently, like, Dean from Galaxy 500, like, started following us, and I was like, hey, like, I just messaged him because I have no shame, and I was like, hey, huge fans here, and he was like, yeah, I love your record, and I was like, what? So, I mean, everything that's happened between like the good reviews, the getting a booking agent, Pitchfork, KEXP, all the support. I mean, all of it's been overwhelmingly surprising to us. I mean, I can't believe, like, every day for like 3 months, it felt like something absurd was kind of like bubbling up with, like, someone reaching out, or reviews and shows and stuff like that. I mean, even like us playing with Dive is like crazy to us. We're like, what the fuck? Like, how the fuck did this band find out about us? Like, to us, we're still a teeny little baby band still. I mean, like, obviously the internet makes it seem like, there's a lot, but it's, we're still a very small band. And I just feel very like grateful for the amount of like connection it's made with people. I mean, it's so surprising to all of us. After we finished the record, we were all like, who's gonna like this? This is so weird. So it felt very like just like us and our personality, and that's, you know, it didn't feel like it was something that like would connect the way it ended up connecting, which, you know, grateful but very surprised.
Yeah, like, I just think about all of like the weirdo bands of the past, like, you know, Stereolab, right? And they're a weirdo band but everybody loves them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was surprised listening to community radio stations throughout the entire country. I'm like, whoa, they know Dummy too. Like it's crazy. You know, I love that. I think it's amazing.
Well,
so
the WFMU, your station, they've played us like a ton.
Yeah.
Like,
I was shocked.
Someone told me that's really rare that they play. Was it you who emailed me?
Yeah, I think I told you. Yeah, I didn't email you, but I told you, like, yeah, there was another show that wasn't me that was playing y'all. I was amazed.
Yeah, someone sent me like I don't know who it was. I apologize if they end up listening to this, but they sent me like a chart that showed like how like a lot of different DJs were playing us on that station, and like how that's surprising, and like that's not really happens very much. And I was like, cool. I was like, that's wild to me, because I remember listening, you know, every time I drive to New York from Baltimore, I'd always turn that station on, and you know, you got close enough and you start listening to it. So you know, it's a legendary station. Sooner
or later, you know, if COVID clears back up, I picture, you know, one of these days, you and the Yola Tango playing Monty Hall. One of these days, it's gonna happen. Watch.
If that happened, truly, like Nathan, all of us would literally die. Yeah. We would all, if we got to play with Yola Tango. That's like, aside from like My Bloody Valentine, like that's number one like band. And that seems a slightly more attainable, also for obvious reasons. But like, you know, if we played with them, literally all of us would like pass the fuck out of like sheer shock and joy.
Yeah, I think that, you know, maybe the Dummy's gonna be one of those bands, because Yola Tango, again, another weirdo group, they're playing Stephen Colbert with Aesop Rock. You know, that's just that's insane. Like, to me, that's nuts. I love that. So stay weird. I think that's the secret. Just be as weird as you can possibly be.
For sure. I mean, and a Trouble in Mind band played with them in New York. Mountain Movers, they opened like a show for that outdoor show they played in the fall, I think, maybe. So, you know, there's a Trouble in Mind connection somewhere.
Yeah. So, you know, with all the universal praise of Dummy, you know, since you started playing shows again within your DIY community, like the Mo Dottys of the world, any other bands that you're, you know, closely related to, like, what have you noticed about that scene since you're like touring, you know, everywhere? Like, anything change, or is it still kind of the same?
I don't know. I mean, I think people are definitely more present at shows in general, just because, you know, they went away for a long time. I don't know. I don't have any good insight to that yet, because I feel like it's still early and things are still shifting. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't have any strong insights right now for that sort of stuff. I don't, it's just, you know, some bands went away, some bands didn't, and you know, I don't know.
That's usually how it goes, right?
Yeah. It's hard to say, like, you know, we're even here, like in LA, like I still feel like we're outsiders in a, you know, because, you know, all of us are transplants from other places, and you know, a lot of the bands here are very like, you know, people have been around for a while, and or like, you know, I don't know. I still feel like an outsider to LA, like the music scene here. But like the music scene here is strange. It's hard to like kind of pin down and like make sense of, because I feel like here, I don't know, like ambition for the self is greater than ambition for the collective. And I don't, you know, that's how it feels to us sometimes. So we're kind of just like, hey, we're Dummy, you know, we're just like, you know, and I feel like, you know, it's hard to say, you know, because we have the bands we like here that we play with, and, you know, we're always trying to expand that, you know, family of bands, but it's hard because, you know, we're picky We don't like a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed from your Twitter. It's very specific. Let's say that.
Discerning.
But yes. Do you think Dummy's gonna get a what's in your bag from Amoeba? You think that? You think it's gonna happen?
If I could, I would love for that to happen, because Alex and I then would go to roast the people who are normally on there picking the dumbest shit possible. It's just like, why would you go on there and pick like, oh, here's like a Led Zeppelin record or something? It's like, why would you do that? Like, you have an opportunity to like shout out other smaller, lesser known things, and you're going on there shouting out some basic fucking listens to music once music. Like, I don't know, like, it's just weird. So I would love that. I'm gonna keep bothering them. That's like the one way I'm gonna be annoying towards them, because I feel like, I want to do it, and then I would shout out lots of cool music on there. We would do a good job. Yeah.
I gotta do one too. I've been like, I imagine it. I daydream what my what's in your bag would be. Every day I think of different things, like, this weird band from New York that no one's heard of. That's amazing. Or this band that was they only had 2 albums out and they broke up, and I finally found it here. That's my dream. Yeah, for sure.
I don't know what, like, because I've been to Amoeba so many times. Like, I wonder. I do wonder what I would end up picking, because you're kind of at the mercy of what's actually there that day. So what if you're there and you're just like, damn, there's like nothing I want to shout out. I mean, inevitably there would be something, but I don't know what like the budget they give you, like how much money they say, like, here, like you get like $200 for free or whatever. And like,
is that how it works? Do they give you money to buy records?
I assume they just like I assume that's like they kind of give bands, I don't know. That's what I always assumed happened. I mean, it'd be so funny if like I don't know. I assumed like, a band's in town for a show and they're like, they email their press person and they're like, hey, like, do they want to do what's in my bag or something? That's what I assume. I don't think it's just people like, oh, like, I don't know, Zola Jesus was walking around Amoeba and someone's like, that's Zola Jesus, let's go do what's in my bag right now. You know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine that's how it happened. I feel like it has to be a little more like set up, like more like real. I don't know. I have no idea, but I would love to do it. That would be a dream.
So you're doing some PR for bands too. Like what made you want to do that? Or what's your experience like doing it? Do bands reach out to you, or do you find bands to, work with?
Well, I've been doing, since, old band, I did most of it myself. And then for the first 2 EPs, a lot of it was me. And then for the LP, a good portion of it was me too. And I just really don't want to work a normal job. I don't want to go back to a coffee. Like, my unemployment ended in September. And I was like, all right, I do not want to go back to working a service job. So how can I do PR? Because I did it for Slumberland for a year, a couple years ago. Yeah. I worked a few of the records that came out the year they're doing their single series. I worked on like that Janine's record and Business of Dreams and some singles off of that. I don't know. I just started. I don't even know how I just thought I could do it. I don't know. And people are reaching out to me after seeing, a couple of the releases, getting some Bandcamp, love or whatever, or like some, it's hard. I mean, I'm one dude doing it and trying to like earnestly pitch things to, people and try, I do it in a more personal way, I think, opposed to like, the mass emails that go out for most bands. So yeah, it's just been, some bands who I know don't have PR people, I'm like, hey, you should let me do this. Like, I'm cheap and like more people hear it. And I know you probably don't like doing this. So just let me be the, I don't know, I don't just, it's annoying to like, when you're a band and you're sending out email after email after email after email and no one's replying to you, it hurts, or it feels hopeless. But if I'm doing it, I don't like, it doesn't feel hopeless to me. So like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like this wall of like despair that they don't have to deal with anymore. I guess like, I take that despair away. But yeah, I mean, I feel lucky that also bands allow me to do that. To like they trust me and they trust my discerning attitude and taste to like, sell their music to people. So hopefully I'll just keep getting better at it and continue to be able to just do it.
Yeah, artists that I know that have PR people, I ask them like, what do they do? So like, because I get emails for to want to interview bands, or artists themselves will talk to me. So yeah. Who exactly are you reaching out to?
Just blogs and writers that I've
Okay.
I have respect for, or I think are good for the music. I think they'll like the thing I'm working on, or people who like Dummy, and like I'm like, okay, well maybe they'll like this. Like I think most people have more less rigid and discerning taste than me, so I think people are probably more open to things than I am. So I don't think people are as picky. So okay. I kind of just like, I send it out into the world and I say, I think this is good for these reasons, and I think you should listen to it and like take it in. And then if you feel compelled to write about it, thank you. If not, that's okay too. Like, that's what I'm trying to like appeal to, like the music nerd within usually. And so, it's worked a little, and some places it hasn't. You can never predict like what someone will like and what they won't like. Something that you might think really would connect with someone, they're kind of like, eh. So, and that happens. I had that happen recently, and I was like, huh, that's weird. I thought you would have liked this. And they're like, oh, I'm not really feeling this. I'm like, okay. And it was fine. But yeah, I mean, that's what I have, like a list I go through, and I just really, try to, help bands out through the whatever social capital I've gained from Dummy.
Yeah, that's really cool. And with one thing I ask artists now is, well, ones that I know like personally, like with a college radio or non-commercial radio, like is radio a factor for them anymore? But because I've seen artists get big on college radio and they become a quote unquote indie sensation, and then it just keeps, like the Soccer Mommies and the Mitskis of the world. Like I've seen them, do the college radio thing, or their music gets circulated in there, and then boom, you know.
Well, I think like with those two specific artists, that's pretty easy music to like. That can appeal to like, a person who views themselves as like a dork and like indie nerd music dork, or just a normal, suburban person. It's like, like that music's pretty like easy and broad. It's not difficult music. And I think like that's why on the radio it probably worked. It's way up that way. That's what I think. Radio, in terms of, I don't really know how to, that's like a blind spot in my PR knowledge. It's like I don't really know I just don't know. I don't know anything about pitching to radio stations being like, hey, play this. Because I feel like most of the stuff I work on is probably a little too weird to be on the radio, I guess. I don't know. Maybe the Numo EP I'll like pitch to like some radio stations.
Send that to me. Oh my God. Send that to me, please.
Okay.
I love Modati. They're awesome. They're tremendous.
They're great.
Yeah.
They got something coming.
Yeah, I've seen them tease some things, which is interesting, because I'm going to be sliding in their DMs or sending emails like, yo, I gotta. Because what's interesting about them is, like, to me, like their logo is so beautiful. Like, it's so like, oh my God, like that. It's very appealing to just look at. It's like, okay, so the music has to be good now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what's the latest with Tone Bursting?
The blog?
Yeah, your blog.
I haven't. I guess I've been so busy with like other stuff that I haven't really had the time to kind of mentally, I don't know, use it. It was like such a cathartic thing. But my mind has been so focused on so many other things with like the PR stuff and Dummy stuff, touring. I just haven't really felt like the need to write anything that isn't like, a Bandcamp Friday recommendation. That's pretty much all I've done for months. I don't remember the last thing I wrote about that was like not like one of those things. And I skipped this past month, just like Bandcamp. Skipped the last month. But next
I still
month,
bought stuff from
Yeah.
Bandcamp regardless. So
yeah, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think like next month I'll probably throw up here's like 10 things or however many like I think you should listen to that are relatively new or new to me. So yeah. I mean, you know,
maybe
there's some
tone
stuff.
bursting has evolved into your PR, thing. It's evolved into that because everything you're doing with tone bursting, you're doing in a PR sense.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm lifting up other bands, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure I'll come back to it. I have to feel inspired to like write something. I'm working on. I'm gonna be. But I wonder when will this come out?
Let's see. Next Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm working on something for. I'm like I don't know if it's supposed to be a secret or not. I don't care. Whatever. I'm working I'm writing for Bandcamp. I'm writing like a tape label like report. Like I'm not writing the whole thing. I'm doing one label myself. Like I'm writing a little blurb about that. I think is a really cool label. So I'm actually waiting to hear back from the person who runs that label, like some questions I had for them. So I'm excited that I got asked to like contribute to their tape label report.
That's cool.
That would be like my first actual real piece. No, that won't be my first. It'll be like my second real piece of like music journalism writing on an actual website. The other one is like a Jessica Pratt review.
Okay. So I'm just waiting for Mo Dottie to put out more tapes, or maybe their next EP will have tapes too. So I'll just wait for that. So we'll see.
Oh, you mean like repressing the other tape?
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder. I don't know. Hopefully they will. I don't know if they will. Because the label that puts it out, Smoking Room, I don't know if they're on a one run kind of label with that stuff, but the new tape is coming.
Cool.
So you have that to look forward to. I don't know when the single's gonna drop. I've heard the whole thing, so I already know. But yeah, I wouldn't want to burst their bubble.
Okay. Tone burst. Got it. Are you still playing Warzone, Call of Duty?
Yes.
Yeah. Are people still playing that? Warzone?
Yeah. I'm sure people. Yeah, I mean, I still play with a lot of the same people I've always played with, but that game is a garbage, buggy piece of shit right now because they dropped the new map and it's just been terrible. Like so many bugs, so annoying.
Yeah.
So annoying. But I have to find a new game. I need a game that doesn't like fill me with rage.
What console do you play on?
I play it on PS4.
Oh, okay.
And it has just so many. It's been crashing the PS4 like all the time, and it's really, really bad.
They're basically saying to you to get the new Call of Duty, the new one. But Vanguard, I think it's called. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm playing. I'm playing Vanguard. Oh. Yeah, I'm playing Vanguard.
Warzone is in Vanguard too?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's what I'm playing. And it's just, it's a whole new thing and a whole new have to figure out. I don't know. It's a stupid video game and I really should move past it. I should find a video game that's like cool and good for me and like artistically. I don't like my I like my video games kind of like how I like my movies, really stupid and fun.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like a game where I have to think. Like, I think too much as it is. So like when I play a video game, I just want to be like dumb. I want to be in Warzone. That's like literally bottom of the barrel dumb. That's like Neanderthal like brain. Just like shoot and kill.
Just shoot that thing over there.
Yeah, exactly.
And don't get shot.
Yeah, exactly. Don't get shot. And don't like. Yeah, I feel it's like Call of Duty is like Twitter the video game.
Oh, yeah.
It's just bad for you.
Yeah.
So me being on Twitter and playing Call of Duty is probably really bad for my mental health. But
you could just mute people and just shoot at them. Twitter, you can't just shoot people. So
yeah,
that's the one drawback of Twitter. You can't. Yeah.
Thankfully. Yeah. I gotta find a game that's like cool and like easy but like chill.
Castle Crashers.
Castle
Crashers. Oh
okay,
yeah,
I'll look it up.
It's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, it's on every console ever, so it's just it's a lot. It's a whole lot of fun. You don't have to think. You can mute it and just listen to Mo Dotty in the background. It's something like that. So I hope Mo Daddy's appreciating all the free press I'm giving. But so what can you tell me about?
Gina will listen to this and be like, why are they talking about Mo Dotty so much? It'll be great because she'll feel so like she'll blush. I'll know she's blushing. I won't know when she's listening to it, but I'll know she's blushing.
Yeah. Oh man, great. Because guys, I want them to come on the show because I'm waiting for their new stuff to come out, and they have an open invitation. What can you tell me about Dummy in 2022? What's happening?
US tour.
Yep.
That will happen. There'll be some sort of summer tour. Hopefully Europe in September. There will be an EP3 this year.
Let's go.
Yeah. What do you that's what do you Alex just walking in the room. We just started kind of working on that, but it's not going to be like it's going to be much more of like a mellow experimental thing. I'm not going to say no real songs, but probably no real songs. It'll be more like EP2, but like
I was just going to say, yeah,
but like minus the actual like pop songs. So
okay,
can be held to that, but that's what we're collecting sounds and pieces for that right now. And then I don't know. Hopefully, we'll be able to like tour with another band at some point and just I don't know, just tour. That's the goal this year, is just touring as much as possible. And hopefully, with what people are saying in terms of like the pandemic and Omicron kind of signaling maybe the possible end of the pandemic in terms of it pushing out the more, I don't know, dangerous strains, and because it's burning through everything so quickly. I don't know, so hopefully less people will die.
Yes.
And other people can exist in the world, but and then on the very bottom of the list of things, Dummy can tour the whole year level of importance things. But yeah, that's the goal, is mostly just touring and like working on like songs and seeing where they lead us, because we're not going to be recording a record anytime soon. At least I don't predict that in this year, recording the next record, but we started working on songs for something.
Something. All right, 2023.
Yeah, they'll be 2023. So yeah, I mean, we just started writing like real songs again for the first time. So I'm excited. The tour definitely lit that creative fire again. So, but it's hard to say what it'll amount to in terms of like sound and stuff like that. It's so far away from like conceptualizing any of that. We didn't conceptualize anything for the other one either. It was just like, it eventually showed itself, but with a lot of work.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I mean, hopefully on the US tour, we'll play like a song or two, new one, just to like, because we'll actually be able to like play shows and test songs on the road, unlike the last one.
Yeah, and I hope that the April New York show is still happening, because I want to be there. So
I'd be very surprised if it didn't happen.
Yeah, there's a lot. I don't know. We'll see, but I'm optimistic that's going to happen. I'm optimistic. Yeah. But yeah, Joe, thank you so much for giving me another Dummy news bulletin, as well as Mo Dotty as well, which is really cool. Yeah, so plug away. Tell people where we can find Dummy, listen to Dummy, follow Dummy, troll Dummy.
You should definitely troll Dummy.
Yeah.
We love all the comments on the KEXP. We're loving them. They're great. They're great. Nothing no one has said I'm surprised by. I'm just glad they didn't go after the way we looked, aside from the one where they said we look way more boring than we sound. I think that's honestly, I think that's fair. But yeah, just notdummy.bandcamp.com. Don't go anywhere else because that's the only place where you make money.
Yeah.
Don't go to
Exactly.
Spotify. Don't go to Apple Music.
No.
Just go to or troubleinmind.com,
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
mostly
exactly.
just not dummy at .bandcamp.com. That's the only place we make any money. So
Yeah.
if you want to give us your money, please go there or come to our show.
Exactly. Yeah. So thank you so much, Joe. Appreciate it. You're
course.
always open door. You can come by.
For EP3, I'll come back again and give you it'll be like like Billie Eilish has this thing where she does this like interview for like Vanity Fair every year. So every release we'll do a new interview.
Please.
It'll be the dummy version.
Let's go. I'm the dummy Vanity Fair. Let's go.
Yeah, you're the dummy Vanity Fair.